So what is your advice to young people when you talk about you need to be individually responsible, but when there are things that are so far out of our control, like climate catastrophe, like the precarious job economy, like the economic crisis, what is your answer to
do you think that you're worse off than
questions?
you think that you're worse off than your grandparents?
I think there are different challenges.
Do you think you're worse off than your grandparents?
The argument, I think, is that individual responsibility does not change the climate, does not fix the problem that needs global collective responsibility. So I think that's the...
I'm sorry, I have to pause it here. Individual responsibility is what will help it. You first look in the mirror and start with yourself, but liberals always want to point the finger at other people. They always want free stuff, and they want everyone else except for themselves to start off the ball that they should be the ones to get rolling. You're the ones who are complaining about everything, but you never want to start with yourself. You want the government to give free stuff, but you don't want to be the one to give the stuff to the other people. You always want it to come out of the hands of others. So it does start with the individual. Look in the mirror first before you start telling other people to do what you advocate for.
The core of the question. Do you have a theory about that?
Well, fundamentally, I'm a psychologist, and my experience has been that people can do a tremendous amount of good for themselves and for the people who are immediately around them by looking to their own inadequacies and their own flaws and the things that they're not
100%.
doing in their lives, and starting to build themselves up as more powerful individuals. And if they're capable of doing that, and then they're capable of expanding their career. And if they're capable of expanding their career and their competence, then they're capable of taking their place in the community as effective leaders. And then they're capable of making wise decisions instead of unwise decisions when it comes to making collective political decisions. I'm not suggesting in the least, and have never suggested, that there's no domain for social action. I'm suggesting that people who don't have their own houses in order should be very careful before they go about reorganizing the world, which happens in many ways.
So, can I if a young person believes that the climate, the global warming problem on the climate is something that needs to be tackled quickly, and they can't wait until they grow up and become prime ministers to do it, do you think collective responsibility overrides individual responsibility in a huge issue like that?
No.
Before Jordan Peterson answers, I'm going to give my answer. Collective always starts with the individual. If you want to do something collectively, you start with yourself first. If you want something to be done on a mass level, you start with yourself first. If you're going to advocate for something, you be the example that you want other people to do as well. It's very simple. It's a 1 + 1 = 2 equation.
No.
Okay. In a huge issue like that?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I think generally people have things that are more within their personal purview that are more difficult to deal with and that they're avoiding, and that generally the way they avoid them is by adopting pseudo-moralistic stances on large-scale social issues so that they look good to their friends and their neighbors. That's what it looks like.
Jordan Peterson put it masterfully. What he said, it was absolutely correct. People just want to virtue signal to make themselves look good, but they never want to do the work themselves. They want to point the finger to everyone else. You should be the one to give free money. You should be the one to help other people. But when it comes to you being the one to start that ball rolling, they don't ever want to do that. They just want to complain, virtue signal. Everyone else is bad. Woe is me. I'm the good guy here. I just want good for everyone else, until they ask you the question, how about you start first? Then they begin to get confused and say, no, actually, I can't do that. I don't have the money right now, actually. I don't have enough time on my hands. That's when they start bringing out all these stupid words and not answering the question. They just want to virtue signal and complain about everything else other than the issue, which is themselves. And looking in the mirror and seeing themselves being the issue, or looking in the mirror and seeing themselves being the change that they want to see in society, but they'll never do that. They just want to complain and virtue signal. But anyway, that was another video, another reaction. As I usually say, if you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.